Well, hello. Put that one on mute. Well, hello there. You may be wondering, a little bit premature for this match. It's not going to be for another half an hour. I just want to inform you about a new connection we have, a new relationship on Talking Tennis, which you can see in this corner or maybe this corner here with Tennis Warehouse Europe. Do check out the link in the description below and use the code TALK10 when you check out to enjoy discounts on a variety of products, whether it be tennis shoes or tennis rackets or bags or merely just t-shirts. Whatever it is you wish to purchase, do so using the link below and get discounts using the code TALK10. So please do that. Or don't. It's okay. Anyway, I'll be back in about 30 minutes, maybe a bit less, to bring you live commentary of Jannik Sinner against Felix Auger-Aliassime. In the meantime, why don't we delve into our preview?
Ready? Play.
The other match in this group, and I think it's interesting, it's going to be a replay of the first match, that is. It's going to be a replay of the Paris Masters final. I always feel tempted to call it Paris-Bercy, even though it's no longer in that part of Paris anymore. Yeah. But it's going to be Sinner against Felix. What are your thoughts either on that final, but also looking ahead to this match?
Felix played very well against Jannik at the U.S. Open, took him to 4. I didn't think that was a top-of-the-line Jannik, by the way. That was part of the story, but Felix was inspired and delighted to be back in the semifinals of the U.S. Open for the second time, and he acquitted himself well. And then in the recent final in Paris, that was one break, his first service game of the match. Felix gets broken, never again. One little point, one mini break point in the tiebreak, 1 point lost on serve. It was that narrow. On the other hand, he had no play at all, no clue at all what to do on Jannik's serve. Jannik was holding so easily. There was one moment late in the second at 4-5 deuce. Jannik had gotten a bit tight to let him back into that game from 40-15, so he was 2 points from losing the set. But he quickly erased that problem. And otherwise, you're holding at love and 15 every time out. So I don't know if that's going to be too different. The way Sinner's been serving, I think it'll come down again to Felix needing to match him, needing to serve exceedingly well himself to stay in those sets. And he might well do that. And he might well get into another time. I think when they meet, it could be a very similar scenario to what we saw the last time around. A 4-6 type match.
Yeah.
But Sinner the winner.
That's my feeling as well. But again, and this is not me accepting second best on behalf of some of these players. But again, I think Felix getting back, in this tournament for the first time since 2022, when he was also having a sensational indoor season. I think there's some, because often we see players, even younger ones or ones in their mid-20s, at Felix is now 25. When that dip begins, sometimes that slide is never arrested.
That's true. That's it. That's looking at it quite realistically but absolutely correct.
And that performance in the semifinals, if it maybe even more so than Paris, the semifinals in US, I think it caught a few of us by surprise. Beating de Minaur maybe for some was a little surprise, but then also the performance he put in with Jannik when that could have gone 5. And yes, we then saw Jannik in the final, maybe not performing as well as we read. Then we realized maybe Yannick's level wasn't quite good enough to win the US Open, as it turns out. But I think there's a lot of positives for Felix right now. Even if he loses to Jannik, and coming back to the maths and all the rest of it and how this group can work and this tournament works, if he loses in 3 sets to Jannik, that might be a good result.
It would be a good result. So I'm very intrigued.
Matters, right? So
yeah, and it does. And I think, yeah, exactly. That could be what gets him into the semis. But I think Felix will be inspired, and he's had a very good fall, and he belongs in that field. And I just hope now, John, that we're going to see this man buckle down across the board, week in, week out, month in, month out, across next year, and really give it the ultimate commitment. I don't think we've seen that. I think there are times when he's wandered a bit. I'm not saying he doesn't try. I'm not saying he's not professional. But there are periods where he He's played a bit listlessly and had results that leave you scratching your head. And I hope that's going to stop because he's too good for that. And he's been around too long. And this is a step in the right direction. And I'm very much looking forward to watching him play this week.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Ready? Play.
The other match in this group, and I think it's interesting, it's going to be a replay of the first match, that is. It's going to be a replay of the Paris Masters final. I always feel tempted to call it Paris-Bercy, even though it's no longer in that part of Paris anymore.
Yeah.
But it's going to be Sinner against Felix. What are your thoughts either on that final, but also looking ahead to this match?
Felix played very well against Jannik at the US Open, took him to 4. I didn't think that was a top of the line, Jannik, by the way. That was part of the story, but Felix was inspired and delighted to be back in the semifinals of the US Open for the second time. And he acquitted himself well. And then in the recent final in Paris, that was one break, his first service game of the match. Felix gets broken, never again. One little point, one mini break point in the tiebreak, 1 point lost on serve. It was that narrow. On the other hand, he had no play at all, no clue at all what to do on Jannik's serve. Jannik was holding so easily. There was one moment late in the second at 4-5 deuce. Jannik had gotten a bit tight to let him back into that game from 40-15, so he was 2 points from losing the set. But he quickly erased that problem. And otherwise, you holding at love and 15 every time out. So I don't know if that's going to be too different. The way Sinner's been serving, I think it'll come down again to Felix needing to match him, needing to serve exceedingly well himself to stay in those sets. And he might well do that. He might well get into another time. I think when they meet, it could be a very similar scenario to what we saw the last time around. A 4-6 type match.
Yeah.
But Sinner the winner.
That's my feeling as well. But again, and this is not me accepting second best on behalf of some of these players, but again, I think Felix getting back, in this tournament for the first time since 2022, when he was also having a sensational indoor season. I think there's some, because often we see players, even younger ones or ones in their mid-20s, that Felix is now 25. When that dip begins, sometimes that slide is never arrested.
That's true. That's true. That's looking at it quite realistically and but absolutely correct.
And that performance in the semifinals, if it maybe even more so than Paris, the semifinals in US, I think it caught a few of us by surprise. Beating de Minaur maybe for some was a little surprise, but then also the performance he put in with Jannik when that could have gone 5. And yes, we then saw Jannik in the final, maybe not performing as well as we read. Then we realized maybe Yannick's level wasn't quite good enough to win the US Open, as it turns out. But I think there's a lot of positives for Felix right now. Even if he loses to Jannik, and coming back to the maths and all the rest of it and how this group can work and this tournament works, if he loses in 3 sets to Jannik, that might be a good result.
It would be a good result. So I'm very intrigued.
Matters, right? So
yeah, and it does. And I think, yeah, exactly. That could be what gets him into the semis. But I think Felix will be inspired, and he's had a very good fall, and he belongs in that field. And I just hope now, John, that we're going to see this man buckle down across the board, week in, week out, month in, month out, across next year, and really give it the ultimate commitment. I don't think we've seen that. I think there are times when he's wandered a bit. I'm not saying he doesn't try. I'm not saying he's not professional, but there are periods where he's played a bit listlessly and had results that leave you scratching your head. And I hope that's going to stop because he's too good for that. And he's been around too long. And this is a step in the right direction. And I'm very much looking forward to watching him play this week.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Play.
The other match in this group, and I think it's interesting, it's going to be a replay of the first match, that is. It's going to be a replay of the Paris Masters final. I always feel tempted to call it Paris-Bercy, even though it's no longer in that part of Paris anymore.
Yeah.
But it's going to be Sinner against Felix. What are your thoughts either on that final, but also looking ahead to this match?
Felix played very well against Jannik at the US Open, took him to 4. I didn't think that was a top of the line, Jannik, by the way. That was part of the story, but Felix was inspired and delighted to be back in the semifinals of the US Open for the second time. And he acquitted himself well. And then in the recent final in Paris, that was one break, his first service game of the match. Felix gets broken, never again. One little point, one mini break point in the tiebreak, 1 point lost on serve. It was that narrow. On the other hand, he had no play at all, no clue at all what to do on Jannik's serve. Jannik was holding so easily. There was one moment late in the second at 4-5 deuce. Jannik had gotten a bit tight to let him back into that game from 40-15, so he was 2 points from losing the set. But he quickly erased that problem. And otherwise, you're holding at love and 15 every time out. So I don't know if that's going to be too different. The way Sinner's been serving, I think it'll come down again to Felix needing to match him, needing to serve exceedingly well himself to stay in those sets. And he might well do that. He might well get into another time. I think when they meet, it could be a very similar scenario to what we saw the last time around. A 4-6 type match.
Yeah.
But Sinner the winner.
That's my feeling as well. But again, and this is not me accepting second best on behalf of some of these players, but again, I think Felix getting back, in this tournament for the first time since 2022, when he was also having a sensational indoor season. I think there's some, because often we see players, even younger ones or ones in their mid-20s, that Felix is now 25. When that dip begins, sometimes that slide is never arrested.
That's true. That's true. That's looking at it quite realistically and but absolutely correct.
And that performance in the semifinals, if it maybe even more so than Paris, the semifinals in US, I think it caught a few of us by surprise. Beating De Minaur maybe for some was a little surprise, but then also the performance he put in with Jannik when that could have gone 5. And yes, we then saw Jannik in the final, maybe not performing as well as we read. Then we realized maybe Yannick's level wasn't quite good enough to win the US Open, as it turns out. But I think there's a lot of positives for Felix right now. Even if he loses to Jannik, and coming back to the maths and all the rest of it and how this group can work and this tournament works, if he loses in 3 sets to Jannik, that might be a good result.
It would be a good result. So I'm very intrigued.
Matters, right? So
yeah, and it does. And I think, yeah, exactly. That could be what gets him into the semis. But I think Felix will be inspired, and he's had a very good fall, and he belongs in that field. And I just hope now, John, that we're going to see this man buckle down across the board, week in, week out, month in, month out, across next year, and really give it the ultimate commitment. I don't think we've seen that. I think there are times when he's wandered a bit. I'm not saying he doesn't try. I'm not saying he's not professional, but there are periods where he's played a bit listlessly and had results that leave you scratching your head. And I hope that's going to stop, because he's too good for that. And he's been around too long. And this is a step in the right direction. And I'm very much looking forward to watching him play this week.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
The whole match. Oh, and he misses on the backhand. Big reaction from Sasha. Oh my god. Best rally in the match, save for the last point. Ben throws away, and I'm going to use that in a non-light term. Throws away 3 set points. And Zverev comes through. Starts nicely in Turin. Played big celebration. I haven't seen that much passion out of Sasha in quite a while, to be honest. He is. I mean, when you get that much on the other side of the court from Ben, that can't be a...
That rally was not typical of the match because actually it was a situation where it was a good return from Zverev, but then Ben's in the rally. He's staying quite patient. He's not pulling triggers. He's not net rushing. Things are going okay. Somehow he contrives to put that backhand. I mean, it was fairly normal, sort of fairly neutral that it does. It only lands just out, but yeah, that was the most patient he'd been all match. And he still lost the point. So, he's probably thinking, I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. Right now he's finding it difficult to know which direction to walk off the court.
Yeah,
it's indicative of his anxious performance in so many ways. He did come out the blocks firing and said earlier he gets to love 15 on one of the early Sasha Zverev service games. Gets a bit unlucky with a passing shot that clips the net. Gets to love 30 there. Who knows? But he ends up getting broken twice. And he just seems so, anxious throughout that entire first set. However, he then gets to the tiebreak in the second. And you're thinking, okay, we're going 3 because he's up 6-3 and he's got 3 set points. The first 2 of which were on his serve. But somehow contrives to lose that set in the match. I thought Ben might lose all 3 group matches, and of course he's now in a real sticky, and losing this in straights as well. You lose in 3 and you think, okay, maybe you beat Felix in straights and whatever, but you lose this one in straights. Yeah, and you've got Jannik Sinner and Felix Auger-Aliassime to come.
I did say this was the match that Shelton needed to win if he wanted any sort of chance. The Felix matchup is horrible. And now it feels as though, unless Shelton can, produce something pretty big, it feels as though the crunch match is Zverev Felix. Which, I kind of favor Felix in that for me.
I've got Felix emerging from the group. Yeah. In fact, I've actually got Felix in the final.
Does Ben need to go that big on any of those 3 set points?
Yeah, it's just like bad +1s, to be honest. I think he had it. He had it won mentally when he stepped up to serve it.
Yeah, that huge celebration for that pass at 6-3 almost felt like he never came down from that moment, and then it just dissipated from there.
Yeah, but yeah, Zverev will have a great chance now. I mean, straight sets win. Yes, it probably will come down to the Felix match. If you win that one, then you're probably going through, and if you don't, then you're probably going out. The margins of losses, as I say, against Sinner might come into play as well. If Felix gets a 3-set loss tomorrow, for example, that might stand. And I don't want to be too negative, but I can't see Jannik not qualifying, and I probably can't see him not qualifying as group winner. It's very difficult to imagine Jannik not being in the final, actually, one way or another. But that's still to come. Brenner, some thoughts on Zverev today as well.
Yeah, I mean, looked fairly dull, to be honest. Nothing super, nothing that stood out to me in particular. Obviously, we know his ability on serve, and that's kind of what you got to do, especially when you're playing a good server. And, there wasn't any threat from Shelton on return, so I wouldn't say there was anything that stuck out to me. Obviously, clean performance, but probably should be in a 3rd set, and who knows what happens once Shelton starts to feel a bit more comfortable. So I just think you could tell with that emotion he let out that there's definitely some angst. And obviously it's difficult, right? The first match here is always, for all these players, is a little difficult. So I wouldn't say anything stuck out to me.
Some breaking news, and I love to break big stories on this channel, as you know, and I'm sure many of you tune in because we're going to break these stories first. Casper Ruud has had a haircut, and it's Very curious, I would suggest. Haircuts and tennis seems to be a bit of a thing at the moment, with Alcaraz kind of starting the trend by his brother somehow mismanaging his hair, and then he went a skinhead, and now he's gone for the blonde top. Then we had Fonseca talking about it in his speech. Zverev has also mentioned it. I think if he wins the Australian Open, he's vowed to cut his hair. And now Casper Ruud is getting in on the act. I don't know if we've got any thoughts on this, Fergus.
For me, he actually kind of looks like a rugby player in the nicest way possible. I don't know whether it ages him or de-ages him.
It's a look.
It is something. I don't think it's not quite Carlos, because Carlos, can pretty much do anything, and it'll look fine.
Yeah.
Ruud kind of. Well, will he still wear the sweatband now? That's like
it's definitely weird looking on Ruud.
I mean, he's got a couple of months to grow it back before Australia, anyway. So maybe he's chosen this time of year.
If he grows it back, does he just buzz it again, just before the AO?
Yeah. He actually was one to have bleached hair back in the junior days. I saw a
picture.
Did,
yeah, but basically since making it, he hasn't had bleached hair. So anyway, there we go. Breaking a bit of a story.
If you're gonna shave your head, because you've got to have it's got to be like a big moment. I thought he would have shaved his head maybe after Madrid or something like that.
Yeah, but is he? This looks like it's maybe, I don't know if he's missed a bit or he's gone a bit too hard. Maybe if we see the other side of his head, he's got actually even more of a style going on in terms of it's pretty short, but super short on both sides. But anyway, go on, Fergus.
Whilst we're on Ruud, I wanted to ask: are we throwing Ruud in the same category as Medvedev and Rublev and Tsitsipas of not winning another Masters and not making another Slam final?
I don't know about not winning another Masters, because he's always got Monte Carlo, Madrid, and Rome to consider. But yeah, I thought you were going to say basically in terms of maybe peaking, let's say,
or at least
peaking,
level.
3 slams, top 5. Yeah, he was top 5. In fact, he had a shot at world number 1 in the final against Alcaraz.
If Jannik had beaten Carlos at the US, he would have been world number 1.
Exactly. So yeah, I am thinking that him and that other batch of players have peaked. I wouldn't say none of them will win another 1,000. I think Medvedev could easily win a hard court 1,000 before he's done.
How long do you think Medvedev have left?
As a player, I have no idea. It could be anything between 1 and 4 years. But my point that I made to you a few weeks ago was that, yeah, he's peaked. He's not winning another slam. He might pick up a few titles here and there because, there's plenty of hard court titles out there. I just don't see him returning, for example, to the top 10. I don't think even that is going to happen because, yeah, it just feels like there's a slump. But he has had a nice little uptick the last few weeks, so that suggests something. But I think when you said 4 years, I thought that was a bit strong. I think that was my reaction, wasn't it, Fergus?
You seem to think I was losing my mind when I said
I think I did think that. Yeah,
well,
4 years does seem a lot, but
220 points separates Medvedev and the top 10.
Oh, okay.
With nothing, I said nothing, pretty much.
He went out early in Australia, didn't he? I know.
Second round of Australia, then lost early in Doha and Dubai. Lost semi-finals of Indian Wells. Just hit a few pieces here and there.
Yeah, he might well
also
get back to the top 10 at some point in the next few weeks.
Absolutely nothing to defend in terms of slams.
True. All right, guys. I do think we're done because in just over an hour, we're going to have Gil Gross on WTA Weekly. That's going to be with Nick, of course, as always. That's to look forward to. But I just want to say a big thanks to you, Brenner.
Thanks for having me.
And, of course, to you as well, Fergus.
Thank you very much. Pleasure as always.
And to everybody else, you know the drill. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. Wow. That second set was Carlos at his best. He wins in straight sets, 7-6, 6-2, and arguably has 1 foot already in the semifinals. De Minaur probably going to have to win both his next 2 matches to give himself a reasonable chance of qualifying, especially as he lost in straight sets. And it's Alcaraz who takes the plaudits. Let's talk about the match quickly. Alcaraz goes up a break, leads 4-1 in the first set, has a chance for a double break when he's love 40 on the de Minaur serve. But, as can happen with Alcaraz, the mind went wandering. There was a couple of strange choices in terms of shot selection. We get de Minaur holds, then breaks back. We're on serve, charging towards a tie break. De Minaur takes an early lead in that tie break and doesn't let it go until we get to 5-3. And then somehow Alcaraz pulls it out of the bag and wins 4 points in a row to seal the first set. The second set, we had 3 consecutive breaks of serve, which then saw Alcaraz up a break. But now we're seeing Alcaraz taking the backhand early, changing direction, going down the line. Unbelievable shot making from Carlos. He gets a double break advantage, has to fend off a break point when he's trying to serve it out, but ultimately gets over the line. 7-6, 6-2. Very impressive, that second set from Carlos. Do hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. We'll probably just hear from Carlos before we bring this stream to an end. Let me know whether you think Carlos is going to progress from this group, either as the group winner or runner-up. Maybe even also let me know in the comments below as to who you think is going to take the title in Turin. Is it just Sinner against the rest? Is it that clear? Well, we're about to find out. Let's hear what Carlos has got to say anyway, as he just changes his shoes. Just probably something slightly more comfortable. Of course, he is pursuing the world number 1 as well, which I think he will get if he wins 3 matches in Turin, the world number 1 year end. Sinner took it back from him in Paris by winning the title there. But he has got a big shot, Carlos. 2 more match wins, I think, seals the deal in that respect. Just looking at some of the stats, by the way. Alcaraz, 32 winners today to 28 unforced errors. De Minaur, 12 winners to 17 unforced errors. I think you really want to be hitting more winners than unforced errors, don't you? And so De Minaur in that category. I think he'll be a little disappointed. There were a few net cords as well that went against Alex. And as Alex lamented there, it's like, you know, Alcaraz is arguably the best player in the world. We don't need to be giving him net cords as well. 11 backhand winners from Alcaraz today. I think the backhand was sensational at times. It was a forehand winner that got the deal done. But by the way, de Minaur winning 43% on the Alcaraz second serve. That is not really good enough. And de Minaur as well, first serves in for 52%. You're going to be struggling to hold serve when you're getting just 52% of your first serves in and you're winning just 43% of your second serve points. Maybe we'll have a quick look at the Twitter sphere. We're going to actually, here's Alcaraz talking. No. Okay. Yeah, let's have a quick look at the Twitter's responses and reactions before we bring this live stream to an end. Of course, we will have live coverage of Alexander Zverev against Ben Shelton coming up shortly, or a little bit later on, 8:30 local time, 7:30, that'll be in the UK, 2:30 Eastern Standard Time, and 11:30 in the morning Pacific Time. We will also have Gil Gross on WTA Weekly later on as well. That's going to be at 11 p.m. UK, midnight Central European Time, as Gil reflects on the WTA Tour Finals and the title that went the way of Elena Rybakina. But that is all to come. Let's just have a quick look to see what's going on regarding Alcaraz's win today on social media. Casper Rudier in the audience. He's the second alternate in Turin. But yeah. Oh, actually, I think I've got to do my maths again. Oh, no, yeah. Alcaraz, by the way, is going to be world number 1 tomorrow. That's Monday, after his first match here in Turin that saw him beat de Minaur 7-6, 6-2. He is 2 wins away, as I thought, from year-end number 1. This is 14th top 10 win of the year, and the first time he wins his first round-robin match at this event. Of course, it is his, I'm going to say his 3rd appearance, maybe, in Turin. 2022. Was he there in 22, or did he get injured? Actually, he might have been injured for 2022. He's definitely there 23 and 24. 23, I think he made the semis. 24, he went out in the group stage. Anyway, that brings this stream to an end. Thanks for joining, and you know the drill. If you enjoy...
Ready. Play.
The other match in this group, and I think it's interesting, it's going to be a replay of the first match, that is. It's going to be a replay of the Paris Masters final. I always feel tempted to call it Paris-Bercy, even though it's no longer in that part of Paris anymore.
Yeah.
But it's going to be Sinner against Felix. What are your thoughts either on that final, but also looking ahead to this match?
Felix played very well against Jannik at the US Open, took him to 4. I didn't think that was a top of the line, Jannik, by the way. That was part of the story, but Felix was inspired and delighted to be back in the semifinals of the US Open for the second time. And he acquitted himself well. And then in the recent final in Paris, that was one break, his first service game of the match. Felix gets broken, never again. One little point, one mini break point in the tiebreak, 1 point lost on serve. It was that narrow. On the other hand, he had no play at all, no clue at all what to do on Jannik's serve. Jannik was holding so easily. There was one moment late in the second at 4-5 deuce. Jannik had gotten a bit tight to let him back into that game from 40-15, so he was 2 points from losing the set. But he quickly erased that problem. And otherwise, you holding at love and 15 every time out. So I don't know if that's going to be too different. The way Sinner's been serving, I think it'll come down again to Felix needing to match him, needing to serve exceedingly well himself to stay in those sets. And he might well do that. He might well get into another time. I think when they meet, it could be a very similar scenario to what we saw the last time around. A 4-6 type match.
Yeah.
But Sinner the winner.
That's my feeling as well. But again, and this is not me accepting second best on behalf of some of these players, but again, I think Felix getting back, in this tournament for the first time since 2022, when he was also having a sensational indoor season. I think there's some, because often we see players, even younger ones or ones in their mid-20s, that Felix is now 25. When that dip begins, sometimes that slide is never arrested.
That's true. That's true. That's looking at it quite realistically and but absolutely correct.
And that performance in the semifinals, if it maybe even more so than Paris, the semifinals in US, I think it caught a few of us by surprise. Beating De Minaur maybe for some was a little surprise, but then also the performance he put in with Jannik when that could have gone 5. And yes, we then saw Jannik in the final, maybe not performing as well as we read. Then we realized maybe Yannick's level wasn't quite good enough to win the US Open, as it turns out. But I think there's a lot of positives for Felix right now. Even if he loses to Jannik, and coming back to the maths and all the rest of it and how this group can work and this tournament works, if he loses in 3 sets to Jannik, that might be a good result.
It would be a good result. So I'm very intrigued.
Matters, right? So
yeah, and it does. And I think, yeah, exactly. That could be what gets him into the semis. But I think Felix will be inspired, and he's had a very good fall, and he belongs in that field. And I just hope now, John, that we're going to see this man buckle down across the board, week in, week out, month in, month out, across next year, and really give it the ultimate commitment. I don't think we've seen that. I think there are times when he's wandered a bit. I'm not saying he doesn't try. I'm not saying he's not professional, but there are periods where he's played a bit listlessly and had results that leave you scratching your head. And I hope that's going to stop, because he's too good for that. And he's been around too long. And this is a step in the right direction. And I'm very much looking forward to watching him play this week.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Play.
Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time it is in the world, wherever you are tuning in from. Jannik Sinner won the toss and I think smartly chose to serve first, and he is already up 40-love in the opening game of the match. Into the rally here, forehand looking pretty good there from Jannik. Oh my goodness me, very good. And Jannik holds to love. As I mentioned at the beginning of this stream, but also in the chat, we do have a new collaboration at Talking Tennis, and that is with Tennis Warehouse. So please use that link that I have shared in the chat to get all your tennis goods. And also use the code TALK10 and you will get discount. How about that? Anyway, Jannik Sinner, don't know if he wants to get any more tennis gear, but if he does, he can definitely use that link, and he may even need the discount code, given his earnings, you know. One love he holds. Comfortable hold for Jannik. Remember, it was Felix who got broken immediately in that Paris Masters final recently. Will he get broken immediately tonight? We're about to find out with Felix serving from the other end of the court. Remember, Felix was in the tournament in 2022, went out in the group stage that year. Somewhat disappointingly, after he came in incredible form. Good return there from Jannik. Backhand down the line from Jannik is sensational. Love 15. Remember as well to hit that like button. And of course, if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe. Ace, Felix Auger-Aliassime, 15 all. If you hit subscribe as well, you will see that little number tick over, and you can do a little dance and know that you've made a difference. Body serve there from Felix, forehand from Felix. Felix comes into the net, puts the volley away more or less. Enough to win the point, 30-15. Wonderful to have some people joining us on Instagram. Do get in the comment section there. Backhand return here from Felix into the backhand of both players right now. Forehand Jannik is big. Forehand from Felix is pretty well defended. That's a wonderful forehand winner from Felix Auger-Aliassime, 40-15. Ace for Felix Auger-Aliassime to bring up 1-all. I'll be back in 30 seconds. 30 seconds was enough for Sinner to win 2 points on his serve. Good to see Terry in the chat, by the way. Long time no see in the YouTube chat, at least. Terry's very active on our Discord, and that Discord, by the way, link is posted in the description below. Forehand is missed there from Jannik Sinner, so that's what brings up 30-15. They've had two clashes recently. Both were pretty close affairs. One was a 4-set win for Sinner in the US Open semi-final. Since then, of course, they did meet in the Paris Masters, which was 2 tight sets with just 1 break of serve across those 2 sets. And of course, it did go the way of Jannik Sinner. The head-to-head, by the way, reads 3-2. There's a walkover in there that went the way of Felix in Madrid when Sinner withdrew on the eve of that match. That, of course, doesn't count in the head-to-head. Good serve down the tee there from Jannik, bringing it up 40-15. Forehand return. Forehand is pretty big there. Forehand from Jannik clips the net. Backhand slice from Felix. Ooh, just gone out there from Felix. And we've got another hold of serve. We've yet to see a break point. What doesn't copy as a link? In the description, you mean, Terry? Let me check the description. Check out our website, check out Talking Tennis Community, become a member. Maybe it's not in the description. I can find it though very quickly, just a second. If you look on videos, it's permanently in the description. So, for example, our Taylor Fritz Lorenzo Musetti preview, it is in the description there. There we go. Here's the link anyway, I've got it. No, it doesn't block it. So here's the link for Discord. There you go. So you can join other tennis fans, including Terry, for example. Okay, Felix to serve here, 1-2. Nice serve +1 there, 15 love for Felix. To get voting in our poll on YouTube as to who you think is going to win this encounter. Let me know if that link does or doesn't work that I just posted in the live chat, Terry. Backhand return from Jannik. Forehand is pretty big from Felix, but Jannik defends it well. Now Jannik goes on the forehand. Jannik moving from side to side. And it's Felix who errs with a forehand that goes long. 15 all. Someone with a flash camera there, as in flash, as in special, but also flash, as in the flash was on. But I think he didn't realize. Serves down the tee and missed Felix. Good to know it works. It's in the description for all our videos, but it's not in the description for our live watch-alongs, but I'll try and add it at some point. Jannik Sinner goes long there. So it's 30-15. So you've predicted Sinner in straight sets, Terry, right? Backhand return. Forehand from Felix. Forehand from Jannik. Forehand Felix. Jannik is moving so well today, though. Oh, but that backhand goes into the net from the Italian. Just as I say that, he just looks a bit ginger as he emerges after that last rally. Are you supporting Sinner or are you supporting Felix, or you're indifferent, Terry? Forehand there from Felix. It's gone long, 40-30. You're supporting Sinner, Terry? Sinner? I thought you were an Alcaraz fan. Forehand return. Forehand from Felix is pretty big. Felix comes into the net with a volley. And it succeeds in winning the point because although Sinner could run it down and get his racket on it, he couldn't keep it on the island. 2-all. Yeah, you can't have them all, Terry. Anyway, 2 games all. Jannik Sinner to serve. Misses the first serve. Backhand return from Felix. Forehand from Jannik. Backhand well defended there. Little net cord though. Little fortunate there for Felix. Nice slices from both players. Felix on the backhand with good depth. Now he's got a short ball to attack. Attack it he does, forcing the error. Love 15. Love 15. Nice forehand there. So it's a serve +1. Easy peasy for Jannik Sinner. We will have Carlos Alcaraz's match as a watch along tomorrow at 2 o'clock local time. That is 8 a.m. Eastern time and 1 p.m. in the UK. Oh, it's not Alcaraz tomorrow, is it? Or is it? Yeah, it is tomorrow against Taylor Fritz. On the turn serve for 40-15. And Jannik Sinner holds. Pretty comfortable hold for the Italian. We'll take a quick break and then we'll be back. Thanks for tuning into this watch along. While there's a break in play, here's a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe and click that notification bell. Your support helps to keep the channel going. While we're here, you can now become a member to enjoy perks including badges for the live chat, but also bonus material such as interviews with top players from both ATP and WTA tours. The membership link is pinned in the live chat. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram. So whether it be serves or volleys, forehands or backhands, serve bots or drop shots, we've got you covered, whether that be via our website, talking-tennis.com, where you can read features and interviews from our top writers. Or if you prefer us in audio form, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon or Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts from. Remember, we offer you wall-to-wall coverage via our regular watch-alongs, magazine shows such as Nick's WTA Weekly or Damien and Mario's ATP version. Plus, we deliver top content from people on the ground, actually at the tournaments, so you get even nearer to the action. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things tennis.
Felix, great to have you here. We had to wait. Can you describe us how was this constellation? Did you watch the final in Athens? And why did you decide to stay here, not to play in Mexico?
Yeah, so I didn't watch, to be honest. I was practicing and also I was trying to just not get too stressed by watching every point. So I was following the score and getting updates, but I wasn't watching everything, to be honest. And the decision came quite naturally because already after Basel, I had to retire from the tournament, and I knew that with the state of my knee and my health, that probably Paris would be my only tournament before turn, and if not, I would need a break. So inflammation in my body could go down, and I could get ready for this one. So I accepted the fact that I cannot keep on playing every week back to back, so I need a bit of a break. So the decision was the only decision for me. Normally the best way to prepare for this tournament is to come here and practice so I can get ready. So I think I had the best preparation considering all the circumstances. And also I think for me mentally is a way to say, no panic, don't take decisions based on this tournament or the other players. It's more based on I want to play tennis when I'm feeling good and prepared. This tournament makes me really good here. So I think it was more like also a long-term decision in terms of how I try to approach my career.
Okay, I'm back, Peel. Felix is serving at 30 love.
Recommendation 13-15.
30-15. Felix is serving down the tee, and Jannik can't deal with it, so it's soon to be 40-15. Going to share an image at least of the Discord. Yeah, I'm surprised Carlos isn't on at the night session. Terry? So that's how the Discord looks. Come join us. Come join. Double fault from Felix, so it's 40-30. Backhand return. Forehand from Felix is really good, but Jannik deals with it pretty well. Good depth there, though, from both players. Jannik hitting that ball so hard and we're at deuce. Where are you going to go with this serve? Out wide, but you're missing the first serve. Second serve here. Body serve, but it's well dealt with by Jannik. It's a miss-hit forehand, and we've got a break point for Jannik Sinner. Down the tee. Good serve there from Felix. Can he put the +1 away? Yes, he can. It was close to the line in terms of that forehand, but he does put it away. Good serve down the tee. And this return has gone long. Good serve there from Felix. Oh, but Jannik read it well. Deuce. Chased across the court there. Could see where Felix was going. Telegraphed that forehand. And put the winner past Felix. Deuce. Oh, and a miss-hit forehand from Felix again, the second time in this game. It's another break point for Jannik Sinner. Good serve there, though, from Felix. He's got a smash, and he puts it away. I wonder if his heart was in his mouth there. Not sure. Either way, he didn't show it. Deuce. Sinner nets on the backhand side. It's pretty high quality, I would say, so far. Game point for Auger-Aliassime. Forehand here. Backhand Sinner winner. Deuce. Ooh, net cord. Backhand from Felix. Backhand Sinner. To backhand right now. This is the last game, or the last match from the Jannik Sinner misses. So game point. It's the last match. After this one, every single player will have played. Hold for Felix. 3-all. There's Lorenzo Sonego. Bringing a smile to the face of Jannik Sinner. Thirty love here, Jannik, who's been pretty comfortable on serve so far. Goes down the tee. Backhand return goes into the net. 40 love. I think Ashley is pleased with that hold. And Jannik Sinner holds. Pretty comfortable so far for Jannik on serve. We'll take a quick break. Thanks for tuning into this watch along. While there's a break in play, here's a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Your support helps to keep the channel going. While we're here, you can now become a member to enjoy perks, including badges for the live chat, but also bonus material such as interviews with top players from both ATP and WTA tours. The membership link is pinned in the live chat. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So whether it be serves or volleys, forehands or backhands, serve bots or drop shots, we've got you covered, whether that be via our website, talking-tennis.com, where you can read features and interviews from our top writers. Or if you prefer us in audio form, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon, or Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Remember, we offer you wall-to-wall coverage via our regular watch-alongs, magazine shows such as Nick's WTA Weekly or Damien and Mario's ATP version. Plus, we deliver top content from people on the ground, actually at the tournaments, so you get even nearer to the action. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things tennis. Are you happy with your badge, Terry? I don't really know why it's such a big deal. You want to change color or something, right? I think that's what you want to do. Not really sure. Okay, Felix here to serve at 3-4. Ace and the T, 15 all. First serve into the T, into the net, sorry. Terry, were you happy with Djokovic's win at the weekend? Ooh, that's a poor backhand by Jannik Sinner, 30-15. Ace down the T, 40-15. Good serve there from, oh, lovely serve +1 from Felix with the drive volley. 4-all. Yeah, shot Felix. You might be, Terry. You might be the longest member. You'd think that the pressure will get to Felix in the end, wouldn't you, Matthew? Return of serve goes long. So it's 15 love for Jannik Sinner. I think so, Matthew. I think so, in terms of always wearing a hat. Maybe it's the hair, maybe it's superstition, maybe it's comfort. Volley there from Jannik. It's not going to be good enough. It was a tough volley, and he didn't execute it. So 30-15. Whee. (40-15) now on the Felix Auger-Aliassime serve. First serve points won. Sinner has won 100% of his first serve points, 16 from 16, which is wild. Okay, down the tee, which is the first serve, and he wins this one as well. Holds for 5-4. We'll take another quick break.
Ready. Play.
And if you're wondering what this little thing is, well, let me tell you now, whether it be tea, coffee, or merely water, it tastes so much better from a Talking Tennis mug. And you know what? They can be yours if you wish to purchase one from our website. We've also got bags and stickers and hoodies and notebooks. Mira Andreeva. T-shirts as well, of course, coming in both black and white. And we've got a classic jumper for you as well, and many, many other things for you to purchase for excellent prices so you can look like some of the coolest people on the tour. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. If you're wondering what I'm doing, I'm grating some Parmesan cheese. I'm telling you, it's an effort. Whew. People often talk about all the effort that these players put in all year round to qualify for the ATP Tour Finals. I bet they've never grated this Parmesan cheese, though. Right. Okay, Felix here serving to stay in the set. Oh, that was an easy forehand for Felix that he's just missed. Terry, I think we know that. Ooh. Okay, Felix here serving down the tee, misses the first serve. Second serve here for Felix Auger-Aliassime into the backhand. Forehand from Felix, but that's not going to do enough. These are short balls. You'd think that eventually Jannik will punish them, but in the end, it doesn't matter. Slightly funny bounce there, I felt. Anyway, it's love 30, so huge amounts of pressure now on the Felix Auger-Aliassime serve. And in fact, in this set, because he's just 2 points away from losing this set. Love 30. Okay, where are you going to go with this serve? Down the tee. It's a good serve. Unreturned. 15-30. I know. Got the feet stuck. Will he end up paying the price? We will see. I mean, he's had to save some break points, and yet he is serving at probably his absolute maximum. Good forehand. Well, no. Jannik Sinner, forehand into the net on that return. 30 all. Okay, where are you going to go with this serve? Down the tee, it's good. Felix, can you punish it? You can. 40-30, game point. Felix Auger-Aliassime. Deuce. Once again, Felix is pushed to deuce. Misses the first serve. Second serve. Backhand from Felix. That's a poor backhand from Felix into the net. We've got another set point for Jannik Sinner. Look how far back Jannik is to return this serve. Forehand returns into the net. Deuce. Here we go again. As Matthew quite rightly points out. Backhand hits the net from Jannik Sinner, flies out. Game point, Felix Auger-Aliassime. Ace down the tee, 5-all. Okay, Sinner serving. I think he's still at 100% on his first serve. Incredible. He's won his first point there on his first serve as well. Now, first serve lands in. Does that mean Jannik wins the point? He's kind of in charge at the moment. Oh, Felix changed directions and lost the point. 30 love. Good serve down the tee. Excellent drive volley. 40 love. Sinner so comfortable on serve thus far. But a little bit like in Paris, certainly in that second set, does look like we're heading towards a tiebreak. Another first serve goes unreturned. 6-5. Thanks for tuning into this watch along. While there's a break in play, here's a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Your support helps to keep the channel going. While we're here, you can now become a member to enjoy perks, including badges for the live chat, but also bonus material such as interviews with top players from both ATP and WTA tours. The membership link is pinned in the live chat. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So whether it be serves or volleys, forehands or backhands, serve bots or drop shots, we've got you covered, whether that be via our website, talking-tennis.com, where you can read features and interviews from our top writers. Or if you prefer us in audio form, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon, or Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Remember, we offer you wall-to-wall coverage via our regular watch-alongs, magazine shows such as Nick's WTA Weekly or Damien and Mario's ATP version. Plus, we deliver top content from people on the ground, actually at the tournaments, so you get even nearer to the action. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things tennis. All things tennis indeed. Good serve there from Felix. Unreturned. 15 love. Looks like we're heading to a tie break. $15 love. Another good serve down the tee. It's an ace. 30 love. Wow, how did that land over the net? 30-15. Ooh, 30 all. Felix just testing his leg there. Doesn't look overly comfortable. So 2 points away right now, Jannik, from winning the set. And now he has a set point. Because Felix has dumped a forehand into the net. Well, well, well. Still treading very gingerly there is Felix. Set point number 2. That's a short ball from Felix. Oh, gets lucky though because Jannik puts a forehand into the net. Deuce. Sinner again with a set point. Set point number 3. And Felix misses the first serve. That might be the difference. That might be the difference. Okay, we're into the rally here. Slice from Felix goes into the net. What was that? What was that decision all about? Dearie me. Is he making strange decisions because of that foot or leg injury that he seemed to pick up? He's going off court. And we'll take a quick break. Hey, thanks for taking the time to, well, you haven't got any choice, actually. I'm just talking at you, if you like. But I'm here also to present to you why I think it's not a bad idea and not that expensive as well if you become a member. And this is how you can do it, and this is what you can gain. So if we look here at the Talking Tennis sort of home page, if you like, on YouTube, we can see this little button here which says join. It is also pinned in the live chat as well, and you can also, I think, see it just below most of our videos, certainly the live ones and so on. Now, why is it a good idea to join and become a member? Well, in the live chat, you can add little funny things, you can add emojis and all sorts of things, but possibly more importantly, you can get to access some live videos, such as this one here, where we look back on the last sort of few moments from the Billie Jean King Cup. So there are little bonuses such as this one, but there are many, many more. And in fact, if we have a quick look at all of the members only stuff, I repeat, you will see very, very quickly some of the top stuff that we've had for members only over the last 12 months since the channel began. Remember, these videos are for members only. You can become a member from as little as about $2 a month, €2 a month, £2 a month, something like that. There are various different things. Oh, and by the way, you'll also be supporting the channel. So it's a win-win-win-win scenario. Let me just show you some of the members only stuff. For example, we've got an exclusive little clip there talking to Laura Siegmund, Laura Tsurenko, her encore interview, some doubles footage there from Monastir, the Germany press conference pre-tournament Billie Jean King Cup, Claire Burrell talking as well to the media in her press conference in Monastir, Storm Hunter and Alicia Parks interview, Rebecca Masarova, her press conference, Coco Gauff exclusive for members only, albeit it was in Madrid, but these are just some of the things, some of the interviews and etc. Like Lestien here, a chat with him, Emma Navarro, and so on and so forth. So many little bonus videos available for just €2 a month. So, what are you waiting for? Become a member. Or don't. It's okay. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, with the second set. My camera's back too. So 7-5. I say we're back with the second set. I see Jannik Sinner bouncing the ball up and down. And Felix Auger-Aliassime is returning to the court. One hopes that he's physically okay. He's looking at his team, chatting to each other. Should we share one or two things from the Twitter sphere? Oh, I see Ons Jabeur is going to be a mum. Sinner wins the first point, 15-love. Of course, Jannik Sinner is the defending champion in Turin. Terry's obviously gone off to celebrate Djokovic's 101st title win. Jannik in that previous set, I think he won 100% of points on his first serve. Which is pretty wild. He's not getting his first serve in here, though, at 30-love. This is the head-to-head, by the way, between the two players. Two recent wins for Jannik Sinner have helped in this sense. One at the US Open in the semi-finals, 4-set win there for Jannik. And then in the Paris Masters final last month. Was it last month or the first Sunday of this month? Oh, good return there from Felix. 40-15. 10 days ago anyway, more or less. Yeah, Ons is pregnant. What was Felix thinking with that slice, by the way, at the end of that previous set? Just wonder if he felt a bit uncomfortable on his feet. Okay. Insights, Tennis Insights is giving Sinner a 9.7 on his serve. Seems a bit harsh to give Felix 7, but maybe my eyes have been deceiving me. At least they are using data and technology, and I'm just watching on my TV. Love 15 here on the Felix serve. Remember, Sinner went the entire first set without facing a break point. And I think he won 100% of his first serves. Let's have a quick look. So when he got the serve in play, first serve, he won 100% of those points. I'm going to check it out. You can let me know in the live chat if I'm wrong. If I am wrong, it's only by 1 or 2 points. Jannik getting over the line on his third set point. All three of those, of course, coming on the Felix serve. Having served first in that set. Nice change of direction there from Felix. He's going to take advantage of this. Yes, he is. 15 all. Okay, so Jannik missed one. 96% of his first serves he's won in this match so far. It's a lovely passing shot there from Jannik to bring up 15-30. 96% of first serves won. Felix is at 65, but he's 45% on his second serve. Okay, Felix, where are you going with this serve? Double fault for 15-40. So it's going to be 3 games in a row for Jannik, including 2 breaks. Could be. I've put the kettle on anyway. Misses the first serve. Backhand return. Forehand from Felix. Forehand from Jannik. But the forehand from Felix misses. It goes wide. 2-love, Jannik Sinner. 3 games in a row, including 2 breaks for the Italian. And it feels like a long, long way back now for Felix Auger-Aliassime. Remember, he's now played 3 sets in a row against Jannik without breaking him. That's the Paris Bercy final, Paris Masters final, plus the first set today. I'm wondering about the final set in New York as well. It was a 6-4 set for Jannik and a 6-3 set for Jannik. Ooh, that backhand is missed from Jannik Sinner. Jannik misses the first serve. Double fault from Jannik Sinner. So we have got love 30 here. to the rally here, but Felix has messed up that backhand. It's 15-30. Do hit the like button, and if you haven't done so already, please do hit subscribe. Jannik Sinner, of course, winning 5 sets in a row now against Felix. 2 in New York, 2 in Paris, and now 1 in Turin. Do get voting in our poll as to who you think will win this particular encounter. It's in the live chat on YouTube. Indeed, 96% of first serves is insane. First serves won is insane, as JC Limbs on Instagram points out. Backhand now into the backhand of Felix. Forehand from Jannik. It's a lovely forehand from Sinner there. Took a funny bounce. I don't know if that was a spin from a slice or something special that Felix did, or just something unusual happened. Anyway, we've got to deuce now on the Jannik Sinner serve, and I think it's the first time in the match that we've got to that point. Do give us a follow on Discord, by the way. There's our Discord for you. Do check out Tennis Warehouse Europe as well. It's in the description below. You can get discounts on tennis goods. Backhand return. Backhand to backhand right now. Forehand from Sinner. Good depth there from Jannik. Felix changes direction, but it doesn't work. Advantage Jannik Sinner. Felix Auger-Aliassime hitting more than double the number of unforced errors to Jannik Sinner. Jannik gets a first serve in, and of course it means he wins the point. 3-love, Jannik Sinner. Change of ends as Felix Auger-Aliassime seeks a desperate change of momentum in this match. Thanks for tuning into this watch along. While there's a break in play, here's a reminder to hit the like button, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Your support helps to keep the channel going. While we're here, you can now become a member to enjoy perks, including badges for the live chat, but also bonus material, such as interviews with top players from both ATP and WTA tours. The membership link is pinned in the live chat. You can also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So whether it be serves or volleys, forehands or backhands, serve bots or drop shots, we've got you covered, whether that be via our website, talking-tennis.com, where you can read features and interviews from our top writers. Or if you prefer us in audio form, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Amazon, or Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Remember, we offer you wall-to-wall coverage via our regular watch-alongs, magazine shows such as Nick's WTA Weekly or Damien and Mario's ATP version. Plus, we deliver top content from people on the ground, actually at the tournaments, so you get even nearer to the action. So, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all things tennis. Okay. I see Felix is getting some attention to his leg stroke knee. Fingers crossed this doesn't bring his match or even his tournament to a premature end. Yes, he's getting some attention here. Medical timeout for Felix. It all happened at the end of that set, didn't it? I think it was the point before the set point. So it was at deuce on his serve in the it was on deuce here. We were just watching a replay of it now, and he just stepped back in a funny way. He then goes down advantage, and on the next point, he slices, kind of inexplicably actually, into the net. Sinner wins the set and has gone on to win the next 3 games. And he's not been moving well since. It's 5 games in a row for Jannik Sinner. Pretty pained expression there as well. Seems to be muscular. Seems to be the calf, actually. The physio just nodded to the umpire, as in like, yep, I know, we're down to the last minute. I think he'll be okay to continue, but it might affect his tournament. We'll see. Of course, he's my prediction to make it out of the group. In fact, I've even gone bolder than that. I've got Felix getting to the final. It's just getting it heavily massaged at the moment. Okay, says the physio, we are done. And fingers crossed Felix is not done. He's going to serve at love 3. Okay, Felix serving. Hits the net on the first serve. Backhand return. Backhand from Felix into the backhand of Jannik. Backhand to backhand right now. Good backhand down the line. I don't think Felix is still moving very well. Love 15. $15 all. Good serve down the tee. On return, 30-15. Jannik's first serve points won, by the way, has dropped to 93%. Oh, it's dropped to 90% even, actually. He's 26 from 29 serves. Backhand block return. Drive volley is going to go long from Felix, and he hobbles a bit there at the end of that point as well. 30 all. Break point, Jannik Sinner, 30-40. Deuce on the Felix serve. He saved that break point. And Felix is going to go long with the backhand, 4-love. Serve down the tee. Ooh, has that gone long from Jannik? I think it has, deuce. This is a comment from Lorenzo Musetti today after his straight sets loss to Taylor Fritz. Block return from Jannik, forehand from Felix, and Jannik can't quite deal with it. Advantage Felix Auger-Aliassime. He's trying to arrest a 5-game losing streak. As this game enters its 6th minute. Okay, serve, forehand return is going to miss, 3-1. And yeah, Felix does indeed win his first game for a little while. Okay, so Jannik's in here, 3-1. It's not quite over the line yet, but 3 holes of serve, and he will be. And given the comfort he has had on his serve throughout this match, you'd imagine a slightly hampered Felix Auger-Aliassime is not going to be breaking him. $30-15. Okay, just looking at this, Sinner. Yeah, it's been quite some time now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 sets in a row now that Sinner hasn't been broken against Auger-Aliassime. There's quite a lot of holds in there for Jannik. And there's another one there for 4-1. Felix is getting more attention, by the way, to that muscular injury. (4-1), Jannik Sinner. Forehand return. Felix comes in for a serve volley, and it's going to be effective. 15-love. First serve goes into the net. Second serve here for Jannik Sinner. Clips the net, lands in. So it's still a second serve here for Felix. Backhand return into the forehand of Felix, which is going to go long, 15 all. Okay, where are you going with this serve? Down the tee, backhand return. Forehand from Felix, forehand from Jannik. Good depth there from Felix. Really good pair of forehands, but that forehand's going to go long. 15-30. Trouble now for Felix Auger-Aliassime. Forehand here from Sinner is going to be a drop shot, and Felix is not going to get it. Really testing that muscle situation out to the maximum there. It was a good drop shot, but you do have to wonder if 100% flying Felix gets there. Two break points here for Jannik Sinner, 15-40. If he breaks here, he'll have a chance to serve it out. Good serve down the tee, an ace for Felix Auger-Aliassime, 30-40. Another good serve, but he's going to come into the net. Yay. Doesn't make the volley. And Jannik Sinner breaks. 5-1, Jannik Sinner. Okay. Backhand return is not going to work for Felix. Remember, Felix has not broken the Jannik Sinner serve all match. In fact, he hasn't broken Jannik Sinner since the second set in New York back in September. That is 2, 4, 5 sets in a row. And if Sinner closes it out here, it'll be 6 sets in a row that Sinner hasn't been broken against Felix. By Felix, sorry. Backhand return from Felix. Is that backhand missed from Jannik? I think it has. 15 all. Maybe I'm talking up the break. Good serve there from Jannik, but actually well returned by Felix. 15-30. Okay, Jannik. With this serve, where are you going? Down the tee, ace, 30 all. First serve into the net. Second serve. Unreturned serve. Match point, Jannik Sinner. Match point. Jannik Sinner gets over the line, defeating Felix Auger-Aliassime for the 4th consecutive time in the last 3 months. He does so with an ace down the tee. On this occasion, it's 7-5, 6-1, and it's the 15th top 10 win of the year for Jannik Sinner, and it's his 27th consecutive win on indoor hard courts. Fingers crossed that Felix can be okay from the muscular injury that he picked up at the end of the first set. But it's Jannik Sinner who wins in straight sets. Quick recap of the match. Pretty tight on serve. Jannik Sinner did have a couple of break points on the Felix serve, but they do hold serve all the way until 5-6 with Felix serving. At deuce, he's now saved a couple of set points as well at this point, Felix Auger-Aliassime. At deuce, there's a point where somehow Felix's feet kind of get stuck and he ends up, I don't know if he pulled something, but he did some damage to his calf muscle. Now it's set point for Jannik Sinner. And on this set point, you can see the movement is not great from Felix and it compromises him a little bit, even if it's just on the confidence side. And he ends up electing to slice when a two-handed backhand would have made more sense. He slices into the net. So Jannik Sinner wins the first set 7-5. Sinner goes up an early break in the second set, and it's a run of 5 games in a row that go the way of the Italian that sees him up 3-love. He gets to 4-1, breaks again for 5-1, and despite going down 15-30 when trying to serve it out, he ultimately does. And that is also 6 sets in a row for Jannik Sinner against Felix Auger-Aliassime, and it is also 6 sets in a row without being broken. Regarding the stats from the match, Felix Auger-Aliassime hitting 33 unforced errors compared to just 13 unforced errors off the racket of Jannik Sinner. Sinner hitting 16 winners and Felix 17. Listen to this, though. Jannik Sinner won 89% of his first serves. And he was getting 71% of his first serves in. So backing up the argument that he's the best server on the ATP Tour. Felix is not far behind him indoors normally, but Felix winning just 38% of his second serves meant he was always under pressure today, and ultimately it's Jannik Sinner who prevails 7-5, 6-1. Jannik Sinner, of course, now joins Alexander Zverev at the top of this group with 2 wins. Both Ben Shelton and Felix Auger-Aliassime now are in a perilous situation where both of them will have to really win their next match, or they'll be almost certainly out of the competition. Zverev is possibly 1 win away from a spot in the semifinals. But Jannik, imperious on the serve today. Incredible. Do hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Also, check out Tennis Warehouse Europe for all of the top apparel and equipment that you need. We do have a new collaboration with them, and there is a link in the description. So please click on that link. And also, there is a chance to get some discounts on their equipment and apparel as well if you use the code TALK10. That's TALK 10. In terms of the group, by the way, Sinner and Zverev top, but Sinner is ahead on the games won to lost ratio because Sinner won 13 games and lost 6, whereas Zverev won 13 games and lost 9 in his win over Ben Shelton last night. Maybe there's some other interesting things we can find in the Twitter sphere other than the ever-reliable Jose Morgado's tweet. Let's have a quick look. We might even get to hear a couple of words from Jannik as well before this is done. Longest men's indoor hard court winning streaks. Well, John McEnroe has the most of 47 wins indoors. And that spanned almost a decade from 1978 to 1987. Next in Jannik Sinner's sights is Roger Federer's 29. He will equal it if he wins his next 2 round-robin clashes. And of course, if he wins the semi-final as well, he will surpass it. Some nice images for us to share, at least. But yeah, fingers crossed that Felix's muscular injury, as I say, it was a calf injury that he had a medical timeout for as well. At one point, fingers crossed that can heal itself and he can be in fine fettle for his next match in around about 48 hours from now. Tweet here from Mario. The best ATP Tour winning percentage in 2025. At the moment, it's Jannik Sinner. It's 54 matches won, 6 lost. That's a 90% ratio. Just past Carlos Alcaraz, who is at the moment 68-8. So he's played a few more matches, of course, because Jannik was suspended for 3 months. And Carlos's record there at 89.5. So it may well come down to who wins the title, because if Carlos was to go and win the title here, you'd imagine that he would probably squeeze Jannik into second place on that list. But I think Carlos's chances are, he's an outside bet, the way I see it. I see Jannik as being the warm favorite to lift the title, probably as group winner, probably winning all his matches, and maybe not even dropping a set. Okay, any final things from the Twitter sphere before we move on? I might even do a couple of previews for the matches tomorrow. Comment here from Tony Nadal comparing Sinner and Djokovic. Let's have a quick listen to Djokovic now. Sorry, Sinner.
Time away from you. How did you cope with that?
Yeah, it was a very tough match. Until the 6-5, I had some chances to break. It served very, very well. Only once I missed a return, but it can happen. And but yeah, he played some very aggressive tennis. I'm happy that I overcome a very tough test today. Obviously, winning the first match is very important in this competition, this format. So I'm very happy, and now let's see what's coming. I also hope that it's nothing too serious. So I wish him obviously a very, very speedy recovery, and we all hope that he's getting back to 100% physically.
Absolutely. Similar thing to Felix. He was struggling with something, with an injury. From experience, how tough is it to then mentally stay in a match when you know something's bothering you?
Yeah, I mean, you still have to be very consistent, with a great balance on the court, especially also mentally, because, it is a bit different, but at the same time, it is also an advantage. You have to say that, you have to use it in the right way, even if, you don't want to win like this, but, if there's a chance, you have to use it, and yeah, it also changes when you are set up, and the scene struggle is different, So he's a huge server, especially indoors. You have to be very careful. But as I said, it's not nice, especially Felix. Had some very tough injuries. So we only wish him only the best.
Well played.
Okay, so that is the words of Jannik Sinner there. Gil Gross, he recognizes here in this tweet, wasn't the real Felix from out of that match, but look at the still amazing. Look at Sinner's placement spread in terms of accuracy on his balls and where he's landing those, as you can see from this graphic that is being shared by Gil on the screen right now. Okay. As I said, we are going to stay live a little bit longer. Going to be having a look forward to the matches tomorrow. So we have Carlos Alcaraz, who'll be playing Taylor Fritz. Taylor Fritz, quick turnaround for the American, having won his match in straight sets today at lunchtime. He's going to be back on court tomorrow lunchtime to face Carlos Alcaraz. Their head-to-head, I think, has got one win for Taylor, and that, of course, occurred at the Laver Cups. So if you wish to include that, so be it. As we can see here, 4-1 is their head-to-head. Both winning their opening matches in straight sets. Carlos over Alex de Minaur. I will just share the head-to-head with you on the screen right now. Yeah, Carlos over Alex de Minaur in straight sets, 7-6, 6-2. The first set was very nip and tuck. Alcaraz does go up a break, and in fact had chances to go up a double break with break points, but didn't take them. Relaxed just a little bit, and de Minaur pounced, forcing the tiebreak. De Minaur went up a mini break in the tiebreak, gets to 5-3, somehow ends up losing that tiebreak, and Alcaraz didn't look back when he played probably his best indoor tennis since Rotterdam in February, when, of course, he also beat de Minaur in the final there. As for Taylor Fritz, he came through pretty comfortably today against Lorenzo Musetti, 3-4. Musetti as well did admit, say afterwards, that he was struggling a bit physically, having had a really enduring, tough week in Athens, and none more so than in the final loss to Novak Djokovic in 2 hours and 59 minutes on Saturday, plus the travel. So he did say he was feeling a bit heavy-legged, understandably. But nevertheless, Taylor Fritz, of course, last year's finalist, beating Zverev in the semi-finals last year before losing to Jannik in the final, has got some pedigree at this tournament, also made the semis in 2022 as well. So, yeah, pedigree is there for Taylor for sure. Regarding their matchup, they also played at Wimbledon this year, if memory serves, in what was a 4-setter that easily could have gone 5. They also played in Tokyo, the final, of course, in Tokyo recently, 6-4, 6-4. I think Taylor may have been a little bit affected with an injury, but he was second best on that occasion. But that was outdoor hard. Now it's going to be indoor hard. So this is a really, really tough match to call, honestly. Many of you might have Carlos as a warm or even a hot favorite. Well, on clay, I couldn't agree with you more. On grass, particularly over 5 sets, I would still go for Carlos. And probably on a hard, especially in New York, I would also favor Carlos. Indoors, though. I'm going to go for a Taylor Fritz win in 3 sets. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? Might surprise you, but that's how I see it. Okay. Moving over to the other match in the group tomorrow. Of course, it'll be between the 2 players that lost their opening match. Alex de Minaur will be coming up against Lorenzo Musetti. As I say, Musetti was struggling a bit today physically. I also really think that it's going to be difficult for him tomorrow. He's got 24 hours, a little over 24 hours to rest up from his match finishing this afternoon to 8:30 local time tomorrow. It's going to be tough for him once again. Let's have a look at the head-to-head between the 2 players. De Minaur, as I've already described, went down in straight sets to Carlos in the first match, where he did have chances in the first set, certainly in the tiebreak anyway. It is 3-1, the head-to-head, in Lorenzo's favor. So that is something for Lorenzo to clutch onto going into this encounter. In fact, all the last 3 matches have gone the way of Lorenzo, but 2 of them came on clay. That, yeah, makes sense to me. I would make Lorenzo a warm to even hot favorite on clay, including the wins at Monte Carlo, of course, in the semi-final this year, where Lorenzo probably played his best tennis of the year and helped put him in the position to qualify for the ATP Tour Finals, albeit via the back door after Novak Djokovic's withdrawal on Saturday. The one win for de Minaur did come on the hard court outside at the Australian Open of 2022. So that's quite a long time for de Minaur not to have beaten Musetti. It's quite a small sample size as well, considering these 2 players have been at the top end of the game for quite a while now, and it's a kind of surprise they haven't played more often. But de Minaur, indoors, I think should and could be a demon. Could and should be, maybe both. Lorenzo Musetti, despite the kind words of Novak Djokovic at the weekend, I think is still a long way from being a demon indoors. And therefore, I think Musetti can get pressured a bit on that backhand, especially with the court speed and de Minaur's speed in general. I think he's going to be chasing every point and making Lorenzo run even more than he probably did today against Taylor Fritz, who's a bit more of a wham bam, thank you, man, kind of a player. And so therefore, you can probably tell I'm going to go for a de Minaur win, and I'm going to go for straight sets as well. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Do make sure you hit the like button and subscribe if you're new, but also check out our new partnership that we have with the Tennis Warehouse. There is a link in the description to below. Click on the link, check out all their stuff, clothing and tennis equipment and rackets and shoes and whatever you wish to purchase, and do so by using the code TALK10. With that code, when you make the purchase, you will get a discount thanks to our collaboration between Talking Tennis and Tennis Warehouse. All right, guys, thanks for joining, and see you tomorrow for Carlos Alcaraz against Taylor Fritz, which will be a watch along we have. All right, see ya. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.